Hello and welcome to another edition of a.vogel's Menopause Mondays, and this time I'm going to be answering some more of your questions that you've very kindly sent in. So here goes. The first one is from Caroline, who's 53. She says, I suffer from IBS and the last 2 months my IBS has been really painful. I am back and forth at the doctor's and she is blaming it on the menopause. Is this true? Well, it certainly can be, Caroline. We know that falling estrogen can actually affect the digestive system. It tends to slow everything down. So if you're already suffering from symptoms such as constipation, bloating, wind or diarrhea and cramping, then this slowing down of the digestive tract is actually going to make your symptoms worse. Now, there are a couple of things that you can try yourself to see if they will help. The first thing is watch your intake of carbohydrates. We know as well that through the menopause, the breakdown of carbohydrates can be a lot more difficult, and lots of carbs can cause lots of bloating. So if you're eating a lot of rice or bread or pasta, then try cutting those down for a couple of weeks and just see what happens. The other thing is, well, one of my favorites is water. Your digestive tract is like a huge processing plant, and if you're dehydrated, everything gets clogged up even further and it will slow down things as well. So remember to add in at least 4 or 5 glasses of plain water every day. The other things that you can do is maybe look at certain supplements. Magnesium, if you take enough, can sometimes get things moving a little bit. And we also have a lovely remedy called Molkazan fruit, which can enhance the action of your digestive tract. So have a little try of these and let me know how you get on. Now, the second question is from Rita, who's 54. And she's asking, can you talk about the length and duration of the menopause and what we can expect when we're postmenopausal? What's the average when things settle down, and when will we feel like our old selves? This is one of the most asked questions that we get on the a.vogel Menopause Health Hub. But it's also one of the most difficult to answer because it's going to be different from every single one of you. I can give you a rough average if you like. Now, from your early 40s to mid 40s, your hormones can start to very subtly change as you go towards the menopause. For a little while, maybe even a couple of years, you might not notice anything different going on. But after a little period of time, you may find that you start to get some menopausal symptoms. And you can still get these while your periods are completely regular. And this is sometimes the point that can be really puzzling for women, because they're going, wait a minute, I'm getting hot flushes, but I'm still getting regular periods. So how can I be going through the menopause? So this particular phase is almost like a transition. You're starting to get some menopause symptoms, but you're still getting regular periods. And then eventually you should find that your periods will start to change. Now, this is another area that can be completely different for everybody. Some women, their periods can just stop suddenly overnight, and that's it, and they really are the lucky ones. For a lot of other women, maybe for another couple of years, they will see their periods start to change. Now, they can start to get closer together, they can start to get longer, they can start to get further apart, and they can start to get less heavy, or it can end up being a whole combination of all these different things. But normally this change about period will last maybe a couple of years. At some point your periods are going to stop. The problem is you don't know when they've stopped for good until you've gone at least a year without a period. And we normally say 2 years, because we do find a lot of women coming back to us saying, I've not had a period for 18 months and now suddenly one has come back. What's going on? So I think you can roughly say from the moment you start to notice any changes, be it a change in your periods or be it starting to get some menopausal symptoms, that perimenopausal phase is roughly about 3 years, and then we would say another 2 years and that's you well and truly postmenopausal. So you can be looking talking about 5 years, which if you think about it is roughly the same time that teenagers take to get through puberty. Now, she's also asking about what can we expect when we're postmenopausal. This is another one that can be different for every woman. In theory, once you're through the menopause, after a year or two, your symptoms should be settling down, and there is no reason why you can't feel great afterwards. Your body it's a wonderful machine, and it can learn to adapt to these lower levels of hormones. And you know, a lot of women find that they're just as healthy, if not more so, after the menopause. So there's still plenty to look forward to. But again, this can depend on your general health, it can depend on your diet, and it can depend on your levels of stress. So looking after yourself well at all times through the menopause is really important, not only to help you through it, but to keep your health good afterwards as well. She's also asking about when will things settle down. Well, hopefully I covered that in the first part of the answer. Normally after 2 years, when your periods stop for good, you should find your symptoms are easing off. If they don't, or if you find your symptoms are actually getting worse, it can be a good idea to go and see your doctor. Low thyroid, low iron, even if you're not getting periods, and low vitamin D, which is really common today in the UK, can all cause menopause-like symptoms, and you can always go and ask your doctor to test for these just to actually rule them out. So hopefully that's answered your questions, Rita. Now, third question. This is from Julie, who's 53, and she's saying, I feel very tired lately. I do work part-time and I have children still at home. I feel that I'm going through the menopause. Is this tiredness connected to it, do you think? Yes. Honestly, fatigue is a really common menopause symptom, and it's one that a lot of women seem to actually suffer from. If you think about it, the hormonal changes that are going on in your body really drain you of energy. That there might not be much going on in the outside, but there's an awful lot of rebalancing going on in the inside by your body. It's trying to cope with less of these hormones that you've had for many years, and that can really drain you. If you've also got outside stress going on, and like Julie, she's got a part-time job, so she's busy during the day, and she's still got family to look after at night, and I bet, you know, Julie, that you're like just about every other single woman here, that you're putting yourself last, you're looking after everybody else first, and there's never enough time for you. So when fatigue strikes, it really is your body just saying, help, I've had enough, I need to rest. So you need to really make sure that you have a little bit of time to yourself, and that you can actually see to your own needs as well. And as I always say to women, rest and relaxation is one of the best things that you can actually do for yourself. Your body needs it in order to try and readjust and re-energize itself. So that's very important. So hopefully I've answered these questions today. If you have any more, if anybody has any questions that they'd like me to talk about, then please do send them in. Now, I have one other little thing for you. I've kind of decided that, you know, we're going through this journey together, but I would like you to do a little bit of homework at the end of every session during every week. Now, this one is maybe a little bit of a hard one, but I'd like you all to promise me that if you don't already do it, that you have at least 1 or 2 glasses of plain water every day. Just add them into your usual routine. I'm not asking you to give up anything yet, but let me know how you get on. See if it makes a difference. Now, I'm looking forward to talking to you all next week, and the subject will be anxiety. So I'm looking forward to next week's a.vogel's Menopause Mondays.